Well, hello everyone. Here we are again, another fresh new year. We're in January 2025. Rob Yastrzemski with RJ Homes and
Ankit here with RJ Homes. So nice to see you guys again.
what are we doing today?
We are doing 2025 housing forecast, what's gonna come, what to expect in this year, and how to plan forward.
So there you go. Everybody always wants us to be a crystal ball. Well, this is as close as we're gonna get. We've got the housing forecast. This is the predictions from all of the industry experts, including CMHC, some, BMO, Bank of Montreal has also had some information for us here. And we're gonna go over all that just to kind of show you what everybody thinks is gonna happen in 2025, not just here in Edmonton, but all over Canada.
Absolutely. And as you know, Rob, the best predictor to know what's gonna happen is to look
in the past
and what happened. So it's going to be a two-part video. We're going to talk about what actually happened in 2024 versus what was predicted.
Right.
And then we're going to talk about what is predicted for 2025 and what do we feel about it and what our personal predictions are for that. So stay till the end.
Stay tuned.
That way you have crystal clear knowledge by the end of the video and how you can plan forward, right?
That's right. Yeah. And just to keep you guys in suspense, we're going to keep the 2025 forecast predictions right to the very end. Let's start with some history. Let's see what happened in 2024. What were their predictions versus what actually happened?
Absolutely. Let's start with the but obvious, the interest rate, right? So we did see at the start of the year. So all the slides will be in front of you. We'll ask the editor to put it. So don't mind me looking down all the time. So at January, we started at around that 5% mark, right?
2024,
January, right? And as the year passed, by the end of December, we were down to 3.25. So we saw a downward trend in the interest rate, which will tie up a lot on what actually happened till December 2024 as we move forward, right?
Yeah, what's really interesting when you guys take a look at that slide, you'll see the first half of the year, there was barely any movement. Bank of Canada really start to make moves kind of towards the summer and then kept on very aggressively making those downward moves in the interest rate, and that did in fact spark even more activity in our marketplace, and that was meant to spark activity all over Canada, but it really influenced us quite a bit.
Absolutely. And there were other influencing factors, like one of them was construction of new houses did not keep up with demand. No surprises there. We've been hearing that since some time, because Edmonton is considered one of the most affordable cities, so the fear of being priced out of our ownership skyrocketed the rent cost as well. And but one good thing that did happen is our new zoning bylaws, right? Edmonton was actually ranked one of the best in terms of getting approvals and building new houses and how easy it is over here in our municipality. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, we mentioned that in one of our previous videos. What happened is this year, at the beginning of the year, the Edmonton City Council decided to really cut off a whole bunch of red tape to make that permitting process much smoother, much quicker. And so that allowed all of the builders and developers to get way more units in the ground this year than in years past. So much so that a lot of other large municipalities are looking to Edmonton to see just how we did it.
Absolutely. So beginning of this 2024 in January, our benchmark housing price was 392,000 as compared to Calgary, which was 583,000. And if you go all the way to Greater Toronto, 1.04 million, and Greater Vancouver, 1.2 million.
Yeah, now just so that everybody understands what this benchmark price is, that includes every category of every residential home. It includes apartment style condos, it includes single family lots, vacant lots, so there's a big spread there. That's why the Edmonton price seems so low. The reality is an actual home is priced a little bit higher. We were at well into the mid 400s, as compared to the benchmark price. But we've got some other stats here for you guys that we're going to go over.
On the same note, as Rob said, the reality was a little bit different. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the sales, what was predicted and what happened. We're going to talk about the listings, what happened, and then we're also going to talk about how our average price has changed till in the December. So, Rob, you want to start with sales then?
Yeah, let's do that. Show me this. I'm really excited to go over these numbers because it's very interesting to see how the experts predicted the year to be at the beginning of the year versus what really happened.
Absolutely.
So we have what? Four categories.
Four categories. So detached, we have semi-detached, we have the townhouses, and we have the apartment condominiums.
So semi-detached meaning half duplexes. Yeah, that's another word for it. So with the detached, what's interesting is unit sales. So how many were predicted? The experts figured it was going to be around 13,900 for the Edmonton area. And what they figured is that's going to be about a 5% increase over 2023 volume. What actually happened
is a 24.5% increase. So that's just 20% over the prediction.
Yeah. So it just goes to show you that even the experts don't have a crystal ball. There's so many factors that play into trying to predict these numbers that even the experts don't hit the mark every time. So moving on, semi-detached, so duplexes, the experts figured last year that we were going to have about a 4% increase over the amount of homes that sold, the duplexes that sold in 2023, for a total volume of predicted around 2,550. And what actually happened?
Just like in the detached category, semi-detached category blew up, so 24.4% increase that led to about 3,100 unit sales in that half duplex category. Incredible
gains. So that's last year. Now, what's really interesting is usually the townhomes, row homes, and condominiums don't usually do as well, especially the condominium, the apartment style. What they predicted last year for townhomes, row homes, and that includes condos and non-condos, they were predicting about a 2% increase over 2023 volume, with a total of 3,150 for what they thought was going to be built. What actually happened?
Had a mind-boggling increase of 31.1% to 31.3%, sorry, and total unit sales of 4,115.
How crazy is that?
How crazy is that?
Now, that's mind-boggling in itself. But what really blew my mind is when we took a look at the apartment-style condominium category. That typically in the Edmonton area does not move that much. There are so many. But with the influx of the population that has been moving to the Edmonton area, to Alberta in general, that's seen huge differences as well. The prediction, get this, was 4.4% increase over the amount of volume we had in 2023 for a total of 3,700. And what was the reality?
29.6% increase, so 4,649. Make it make sense, but yeah, this is what happened. It's not made up figures. We have seen increases, all of them above 20%.
Incredible gains. And this is the number of unit sales. This is not the price. Now, we're going to quickly skim over listings. The predicted listings that we were supposed to have, according to the experts, was about 6.7% more listings than 2023. But the actuality, what happened is...
was just under 3%, 2.8% in the detached segment category. So not a lot of single family detached homes were available for sale in 2024, which was half on what was predicted.
Mm-hmm. And so what that typically means is, yet again, we have a much lower amount of inventory versus the amount of desire to buy that inventory.
And something to note, although the listings decreased, but the unit sales increased by almost 25%.
Meaning that our amount of inventory went down even more.
Right.
So that was single family. Duplexes, very similar. They predicted we were going to have a 9.2% increase over 2023 amount of listings. But what we really had...
7%, lucky number 7.
Yeah, a little bit lower. Now, what's interesting is the townhouse, row home, and this includes condos and non-condo townhomes. The experts predicted we were going to have an increase of moderate 1.9% of an increase over 2023 listings. But what really happened?
So we have a surplus of 11.6% increase in the townhouse category.
That's in the number of listings. Now, one of the biggest reasons for that is because the builders put on a whole bunch more inventory of these row homes, townhomes, and most of those were in the non-condo category.
Absolutely.
So this is what people are looking for. It's kind of the best bang for your buck. You still have the square footage, you still have the bedrooms. A lot of them have garages,
Yep.
attached garages, detached garages, but much lower price than a duplex semi or a single family detached.
Yeah, that explains the 31.3% increase in the number of units sold.
Absolutely.
As compared to what it was, 2%.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
Just goes to show you this is where we have a lot of movement, is in the kind of starter category.
Yeah.
Now, not to be outdone, apartment style condos, again, the experts predicted a moderate gain of about 1.9% of additional listings over 2023. But what really happened,
7.6% increase.
again,
A similar story as the townhomes, much more affordable and much more inventory available.
easier
So
to build,
easier
more
to build,
inventory.
easier to sell because of the price point. So it was natural to see that happening. for
Glad
sure.
you mentioned
Yeah.
price point, because that's next. So the average prices. This was really interesting. This is what the experts predicted, is that the detached single family home, they were predicting in Edmonton was going to go up by a measly 1%. Over 2023 increases to a predicted $497,000 for a detached single family home. But what really happened in the prices?
Well, the detached segment, the prices grew by 8.9%. So the average price shifted from $497 to $536,000.
Now remember, that's including all detached homes, and that includes starter homes without even having garages, all the way up to the multi-million-dollar luxury homes. So
Yeah.
so it's an incredible spread.
And we can clearly see why that happened, because the number of listings went down, but the number of sales kept going up in that
Correct.
segment, which naturally means the price is going to go up, right? So it increased.
Now, similar story with semi-detached duplexes. The experts predicted 1.2% gain of price as compared to 2023. But what really happened?
It's 9.5% increase, and we crossed that $400,000 threshold as well. So our average price for that is $407,000.
Yeah, 408 almost.
408 almost. Yeah, and similar story. Less listings, more demand, the prices grew up, right?
Yeah. And you can see that there is approximately a little over $100,000 difference between a duplex semi-detached versus a detached home. So this means that those buyers wishing to still have those homes with a yard,
Yeah.
with that 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, similar
Attached
area,
garage.
attached or detached garage.
Front yard, backyard.
The only difference is you're attached to a
You're
neighbor
attached
on
to a
one
neighbor,
side,
yeah.
and you get a much better bang for your buck, and $120,000 spread. So that's why that category has seen a lot of interest.
Absolutely.
And continuing on, another category that's seen even more interested is the row house. So when you're attached on both sides, again, similar size, 3 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, whatever the size may be, and yet again, there's another significant difference in price. Again, a little over $100,000 difference between semi-detached, being duplex, versus row home.
Row homes. Yeah, exactly. And so because, as we said, there's so much demand for something like this, because it's still one of the most affordable categories. So we saw an increase of price 12.6%, just under $300,000.
Crazy.
Hey, it's still under $300,000, even with that increase.
Yeah.
How affordable is that?
That's crazy affordable. Now, just to back up, the prediction was for only 1%.
1.1%,
1.1% is all that the experts predicted was that price was going to grow, but it grew by
12.6.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So again, incredible. We don't usually see these kind of gains in apartment style condos. But here we go again. The experts predicted about a 1% increase for 2024. But what we really saw,
Yeah, 5.5% increase. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, given that we have a lot of inventory for apartments in Edmonton. But as our population grew, so did the demand, and that increased the price.
and that's the big key, is we've had a very large influx of newcomers to the Edmonton area from other provinces, and not just other provinces, but other countries even. So we see, as you know, we just drive around, and no matter where you go in the greater Edmonton area, including the outside communities, there is condos being built everywhere. As a matter of fact, we're gonna probably start to maybe look for a new municipal bird. We're gonna call it the crane, because there's lots of those cranes around. So a lot of condos being built, and yet they're being absorbed. Everybody is moving into those condos, whether it's apartment style for rent or to buy. So and that's what's reflecting here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great gains.
Great gains. So that basically sums up what happened in 2024, right? So this other slide kind of talks about the same thing.
Interest rates, yeah.
Units, so we'll cut that.
Let's go over the neighborhoods.
Let's go over the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
All right. So the communities, right? Again, whenever we talk about communities, let's just again pick up segments: detached, semi-detached, half duplex, townhouses, and apartments. Let's see which communities were hotter. We're going to talk about like the top 5 in every segment. So let's start with our favorite segment. So the detached category, Rob. If you were looking for a detached property, more likely you bought in one of these neighborhoods.
Yeah, and what's interesting is most of these neighborhoods are in the southwest.
Correct.
So a lot of emphasis. There's a lot of construction going on in southwest Edmonton, and so right now we're just focusing on Edmonton. And so the top 5 communities that we saw the most amount of sales were
Secord, Chapelle, Gaswick, the Uplands, Summerside, and Laurel.
So Laurel is southeast.
Yeah.
Summerside is southeast.
Kind of in the middle.
The rest are all southwest.
The rest are all southwest. So
and quite a bit of sales too. 200, right between 150 to 200 sales in each category.
Yeah, that explains because most builders are building in these communities. Most new plazas, schools, all the infrastructure right now in Edmonton is being built on that uplands and the southwest region near Chapelle. So yeah, and it's going to continue to grow in that area.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. We are seeing growth all the way around Edmonton and whatever sector, but these are the communities that saw the most.
Yeah.
And by the way, incidentally, these are also the communities that see the highest prices too, because they've got the most amount of desirability.
Absolutely.
So let's move on.
Yeah. So very similarly, half duplexes were also built in these neighborhoods, right? So Chapelle again there in the top 5. Laurel again. Then we have Orchids, which is actually southeast, right? And
just south of Summerside.
South of Summerside. Summerside's still there, and we have addition of Maple Crest, right?
So again, lots of activity there. Obviously, a lot less than in the detached category, about half. But still, those are the communities. A lot of people are really interested in that southwest, southeast sectors of Edmonton. Not to say that there isn't building going on everywhere. It's just these
are more in demand. These are the hottest selling neighborhoods. So if you are in the market for a half duplex, you probably want to consider these communities because it's in demand. And as you know, in real estate, what's the number 1 rule, Rob?
Location, location, location.
That's right.
Nothing else matters as much as those 3.
So if you were curious about what's like the good communities to invest or live in Edmonton, this kind of answers that question as well.
And these are also the communities that typically or traditionally have been growing the most in price as well.
Absolutely.
Let's move on.
All right, let's go to townhouses. All right, so again, Chapelle right there on top. Which is good news for people living in Chapelle.
Right. Do you know anybody living in Chapelle by chance?
Right.
So Walkers, that's southeast.
Summerside,
southeast.
Ormsby Place, that's up in the north.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's good to know. And Castleman, also in north.
That's right. So
yeah,
we are seeing growth everywhere. It's just these are the top 5 categories. Again, this is row home, townhomes. Both condominium style and non-condominium style.
Absolutely.
Most of these being brand new construction, so those are the non-condo, which is what most people would prefer, right?
Yeah, and I'm not surprised to see Summerside in almost all of the categories because it's one of the most in-demand neighborhoods for especially with people with families, because their homeowner association gives you access to a private beach.
Right. A 30-acre lake where it's stocked with fish. You can go fishing. There's an actual sand beach there. In the winter, there is skating. It's just a fantastic community. Absolutely amazing. Lots and lots of families are striving to be there because it's got so much to offer.
So much to offer, right? So, and apartments, right? So, of course, downtown's gonna be there. So downtown's there, number 2. I don't even know how to spell the first one. Rob. Can you help me?
Let's just skip right over the pronunciation. This is the old brewery district. So right around just west of downtown. So.
Absolutely. And Garneau is there. So Garneau is again a very very nice neighborhood as well, filled with amenities, especially for youngsters, right? In that particular area.
Close to university.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Then you have Rutherford. That's again in the south.
Southwest.
South Trafalgar, it's in the name. And then we have Clairview up in the northeast.
That's right. Now, Clairview, for those of you who are not from the Edmonton area, that is in the northeast, but it's right there where a lot of amenities are available, schools, shopping, and there's a huge LRT hub there.
Absolutely.
So that gives people very easy access to downtown or the universities. A lot of students are moving up there, even though they have to drive a little bit or go on a bus or LRT, because of the price point is so much lower than in other communities.
Absolutely. So all over, what happened outside Edmonton, which we call the greater Edmonton area, we're going to go through the most in-demand communities around Edmonton. So no surprise, the top 2 I see, St. Albert with 983 sales, and the second one is?
Sherwood Park, 949. So those 2 communities, for those of you who aren't aware, are approximately 70-ish thousand population for each one of those communities, plus the outlying areas of acreages.
Absolutely.
And both St. Albert, incidentally, and Sherwood Park have been named one of the top 10 communities in Canada to live in. And that's been for years now, so that's pretty incredible. And they're both only minutes from Edmonton. Like
Just
we're talking
minutes.
Across the street.
You
literally.
won't even realize when you crossed from Edmonton to, let's say, Sherwood Park, right?
Significant difference in the lifestyle, though. We've got much lower amount of traffic in each one of those communities. Great family-friendly neighborhoods.
Schools are excellent.
Some of the best in Canada. There's leisure activities, trails, parks,
and
everything.
The taxes differ.
Big difference in taxes. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So property taxes we're talking this time.
Yeah.
Sherwood Park is part of the Strathcona County community, which houses several of the larger companies like refineries. And so that helps the tax base. So incidentally, Sherwood Park's taxes are approximately 33% lower than the Edmonton communities. And get this, 49% lower than St. Albert's.
So that's a huge difference. Huge difference, right? I'm not surprised to see Spruce Grove there in the third, because a lot of new developments is happening there, and you can actually get something more affordable in that community as well. Leduc, after we got the airport there, that community has sprung up like crazy as well. And again, Fort Saskatchewan has always been there as a part of the greater Edmonton area, and very, very affordable as well, right? So,
and what's interesting is those 3 communities are about half the size of Sherwood Park and St. Albert, with approximately 30,000 for each one of those. So again, very popular, lots of amenities, great schools, great place to raise your kids, and not far from Edmonton.
Yeah. So we're gonna tie it down. The end of this segment for 2024, we're just going to talk about the fun thing that we always like to do is the high rollers, right? You know, I personally like that.
What were the highest price sales in each category back in 2024?
All right, so let's do this. Let's
do
this. All right, so in detached single family in Edmonton, in Westbrook Estates, unit got sold for $4.2 million.
How awesome is that?
Wow. In Crestwood, it got sold for $4.1 million almost. In Patricia Heights, $3.99 million. So I'll say $4 million. I'll say $4 million, right? Wedgwood Heights, $3.74 million. And Winter Ridge, $3.6 million. So if you were in the market for luxury, these are the neighborhoods to consider. The one in Winter Ridge is actually an acreage property. It's a country residential property.
Yeah, it's in Parkland County, and so these, by the way, these are the top 5 sales in all of Greater Edmonton. That includes acreages as well as single family. As you can tell, most of them were right inside Edmonton, which is no surprise. I mean, people want to be in where everything is. However, there are lots of good deals to be had, and the outside communities, the acreage communities, do find a lot of luxury properties, and this is an example of just what's sold, not necessarily just what's available. There's a lot more out there available.
Absolutely. So this ties up what happened in 2024. Now we're going to talk about the 2025 predictions and what we feel about them.
That's what everybody wants to know.
All right, so I'm going to clap and we're going to transition into 2025. All right, so welcome to 2025 and the present. So we're going to talk about what is predicted. As you know, predictions can vary in what actually happened, as we just did in the 2024 segment. So let's talk about what's predicted and what we feel about it, right? So
so this is what the experts predict. Again, CMHC, BMO, all the experts do their number crunching and what their thoughts are for 2025. The overall general consensus is that because we had such a stellar year in 2024, the experts are not predicting the same amount of growth in 2025.
Which makes sense. Spoiler alert, everything is in the uptick.
Yeah.
So let's get into the numbers. All right. So new listings.
Yeah, so the experts figure we're gonna have more inventory. Again, this is for the Edmonton area.
Yeah.
Because we're basing this on the amount of new construction that's being developed, and the smooth transitions that Edmonton made to make it easier and faster to get those permits.
Absolutely.
So the amount of new listings the experts predict is going to be increase over last year of about 4%, 4.1% exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
When you consider the amount of new construction, yes. But in each segment, so when you're breaking it down to single family homes, detached, semi-detached,
that's where it's going to get.
Everyone's going to be different.
Everything's going to be different. This includes anything residential. All right. So 4.1% increase in the number of new listings. Price.
Well, there we go again. So the experts are very, very reluctant to go.
For the lack of better word, conservative.
Yeah, very conservative. Conservative. They're reluctant to go and say it's going to be much higher than it was predicted last year. Which, of course, we know what happened last year from their predictions versus what actually happened. This year, they're predicting a growth in all prices across the residential category of 2.4%.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And sales are going to grow as well.
So again, interestingly enough, they're predicting that we're going to have a slightly higher amount of inventory, and that we're also going to have a slightly higher amount of number of sales. 3.3%.
3.3%.
That's the prediction.
Of course, so new listings are going to grow up by 4.1%. The prices are going to increase by 2.4%. And sales are going to increase by 3.3%, right? So let's stick to
up. The only thing that's predicted to go down is the interest rate.
So which makes sense, right? So let's talk about the average price in each category, right? So in the detached segment, right now in 2024, our average price is 536,000 roundabout, and for 2025, it's predicted to go up to
551. So an increase of 2.7%. That's the prediction.
So as we know, in 2024, it increased by 8.9%. And we know that in the new construction, not a lot of detached homes are being built as compared to apartments and townhouse complexes. So what do you feel about that, Rob?
Well, I honestly think we're going to have much higher prices, much less inventory. So I feel personally we're going to see high single-digit gains, if not low double-digit percentage increase in prices.
I think in the ballpark of 8% to 10%, something like that. That's just a personal opinion, but according to the forecast, it's going to change to 2.7%. Right?
Yeah, we didn't do the same number crunching that the experts did, but
Of course.
it's just the feeling of what's going on in the marketplace. We see a lot of buyers coming in, bidding, having a competition, bidding against one another. There's so little inventory that we've already seen price increases beginning of this month, let alone what's going to happen for the rest of the year.
Just to make it clear where we are coming from these predictions, we are realtors out there in the field doing this every single day. We deal with buyers every day, sellers every day. We deal in different communities. So we kind of have a sense of what's going on.
We have a finger on the
pulse.
We're on the front lines, guys.
Yeah. So that's
where we're coming from.
Right? So
Semi-detached, what? Duplexes. So
Duplexes.
Again, the experts feel that there is going to be an increase in price. They're conservative again. They think it's going to be 3% from 407 to
420. 420. Yeah. I think because this segment has both condo have duplexes and non-condo have duplexes. The non-condo have duplexes do sell quicker and for higher prices.
Yep.
That's gonna skew the average change as well. Again, I feel it's gonna be between that 7% to 9% increase in this segment as well.
I agree. There's a lot of demand.
demand.
We're seeing duplexes sell for over list price all the time if they're priced correctly, meaning competitively, and if they're, especially the ones that are move-in ready.
Absolutely.
Next category.
Townhouses. So in 2024, the average price was $290, and now they are predicting that in 2025 it will be.
Yeah, they figure it's going to go up by 2.5%. Now remember, this is the category that saw the largest change last year.
Skyrocketed.
They figure it's going to go from 290 to 298. It's not even going to crest 300. I think this category is going to blow everything else out of the water.
I definitely see a double digits increase. I wouldn't be surprised even if it goes till the 20% mark. If the trend keeps going where it is. Otherwise, we'll see something in like between 10 to 15%.
Yeah, and again, remember, builders are really focusing on building this segment of the market because this is where you kind of get that sweet spot. You get a lot of bang for your buck as far as square footage. You get that newer construction, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, maybe even with a garage, and you're basically supplying the demand of what's out there. People want to have a little bit of a yard, or at least not be attached in an apartment style condo where they're, they can't even have kids or pets.
Absolutely.
So this is the category that I believe is going to see the largest growth.
Yeah, and in the last segment, the apartment segment, which remember grew by 5.5%, they are predicting almost little to no change, so 0.5% change in that. And Rob, recently we've been through some transactions in the apartment style buildings as well, and it looks like the demand is still high.
The demand is high, so again,
especially in the right neighborhoods.
Yeah, again, I believe that because we've got so many new families moving to Edmonton, not just families, I mean young professionals, people just starting out, and they need to get started in the market somehow. First time home buyers, great place to start, apartment style condos.
And we have a big community here that's downsizing as well as they get older too.
That's right.
So
I believe this is very conservative. I do think we're going to see growth. Maybe not as much growth as in the non-apartment style, but maybe 2 to 3% growth.
I think it will be very close to what happened in 2024. I think it will be around that 4% mark, between 4 to 6% as an increase in price.
There you go. You heard it here. 4 to 6%, 2 to 3%. We'll see what happens at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on.
All right. So sales trend, right? So
this is the number of sales.
Yeah. So in the detached category, what happened in 2024, we know around 16,700 units were sold in the detached segment, and they are predicting it to increase. And Rob, you wanna point out on that?
The prediction is 3.8% more sales. I do believe that's pretty bang on. The reason I say that
I like this. Yeah, I like this too. Yeah.
The reason I believe this is pretty close is because we're seeing the predictions of increased listing inventory, which is possible with the new construction.
Absolutely.
However, we are also seeing that there's a huge appetite for this. So if the listing inventory can keep up, then I do believe we're going to have more sales there than we even had last year, which is the number one most popular category is the single family detached homes here in the Edmonton area. That's what everybody strives for. That's everybody's kind of all Canadian dream.
Absolutely. Given that our average price point for that segment is just under 550, so
Yeah.
it's still one of the most affordable categories in terms of
Just think about that.
where you are living.
Think
Yeah.
about that. All you people that are watching from BC, from Vancouver, Lower Mainland, and the Greater Toronto area, just think about that. You can actually buy a really nice single family detached home with a nice yard, double attached garage for around that 550 price range. That's just incredible. You can't even find a one bedroom apartment in Vancouver for that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
So-
yeah. So, but I'm good with this stat here for 3.8%.
I
I think that it will be around this.
I agree.
Yeah.
So with the semi-detached, the duplex category, again, the experts feel that there isn't going to be a huge amount of change in the number of sales, but we are still going to continue on to have
Yeah.
an increase. They figure it's going to increase by
2.4%. I think it's gonna be more.
I agree.
Right, there's this segment which
Duplexes.
Duplexes, which we do see considerably more listings coming up,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the buyers who are moving up and upsizing. So these are this category that's making these kinds of houses more available, right?
That's right.
Because also they're excellent investment opportunities, and we do see more listings coming up in the half duplex segment.
Yeah. And remember, guys, this is predictions for all of duplex sales.
Yeah.
And that means the used ones as well as the brand new construction. So there's a mixture there. Hopefully, we're going to see more of these duplexes come on the market. Although there seems to be more and more emphasis on the row houses.
Yeah.
But this is a very popular category as well. But nevertheless, if you compare duplexes versus single family detached, it's just a fraction of the number of sales. 3180 is the prediction versus 17,300 of the detached. And that's only because the Edmonton area is so affordable that you can actually afford a single family detached home for under
Absolutely.
550. So that's where
Absolutely.
everybody's going.
Yeah, and then townhouses, right? So they are predicting little to no change.
Yeah, 1% basically.
1% basically. Again, I think the number is going to be higher.
I agree.
What do you think about that?
I agree. Townhomes are where all the emphasis is. The builders are really focusing on low priced townhomes, even the ones without garages. They see that there is a huge need for those lower priced townhomes.
Absolutely.
And so I believe that this year we're going to see a lot more sales in that
the
category.
townhouse. It's already begun. We see since January, like we see this segment already moving, right? So I definitely see the number increasing there.
Agreed.
And yeah, surprising apartment is seeing a significant jump, almost as much as a detached segment. So 3.2%.
Yeah, so the experts feel that this category is going to see a lot of activity, a lot of sales are going to happen by.
Is it
by
because a
comparison.
lot of builders are choosing to build apartment
Well,
complexes?
builders build to satisfy the need.
Yeah.
And right now, we're seeing so much population coming in from even out of Canada that the starter category, this is basically where people start to invest in real estate. They buy apartment style condos because, not necessarily because that's what they want to live in, it's because that's where the lowest prices are. And so it gets you into the market.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of emphasis where builders are building that in order to satisfy that need. So the prediction is 4,800 transactions in apartment style condos for this year.
Yeah, and similarly, so when the sales happen, it needs to come from somewhere. So that is the listings.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So in the detached segment, we did see about 22,374 listings, and it's predicted that it will increase by about 1,000.
Yeah,
Right, so
5.5%.
5.5% increase.
That's the prediction.
Yeah. What do you feel?
You know what? this
It's very
is,
hard to
this
put a
is
pulse on
tough.
this one, right?
This is
Yeah.
tough because right now what we're feeling is that what we're seeing anyways is that the owners of these single-family detached homes are hesitant to put their homes on the market because the next home that they want to buy is not available yet.
Yes.
So as soon as new listings pop up where those buyers that have a home to sell are willing to make that move, then they will put their homes on the market, and it just kind of domino affects it
Yes.
all the way down. So between that and what the builders are doing, maybe 5.5% increase in listings could be possible.
I think the problem in this particular segment is because the new type of construction is mostly townhouse, half duplex, and the condo market. Where are you going to go and upsize when you sell a detached
Yeah.
home? Is you go to a bigger detached property,
right,
right?
that's right.
So the problem that the sellers are going to face is where to go after we sell this. So that might lead to some people not even listing at all.
It'll be interesting. I do think that an increase in listings here, a moderate increase is possible. Maybe 5%, like they're saying.
Yeah.
Although right now it certainly isn't the case. We're at the beginning of January here, and we're not seeing there being more listings this year versus last year. As a matter of fact, in this single-family detached category, we're seeing less listings this time of year versus this time of year last year.
It's hard to find a home.
Yeah, hard to find a single-family detached home, especially.
Yeah. So
It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Similar story with semi-detached, right? So they are predicting,
Duplexes.
The duplexes. They are predicting the listings go up to 3,850. Not a significant increase as I was hoping in the prediction, but again, they're not that far away from what I'm also thinking.
Yeah, 3.4% increase in sales versus last year. And now remember, last year we had
increase in listings.
Yeah, increase in listings. Remember, last year we had a significant amount of activity in this segment. So, again, hard to predict listings. This is also one of those move-up categories where you're kind of in the middle between people who are moving from townhomes and apartment-style condos, and they're selling those duplexes and going up to single-family detached homes. So,
Yeah.
maybe 3.4% could be accurate.
Yeah. And Rob, do you want to announce the percentage change in townhouse?
So this just blows me away. Last year we had a lot of growth in this segment.
Yes.
So this year the experts are predicting very little growth, less than 1%.
I totally disagree, FYI.
I think this is crazy. I think that they're not taking into consideration the amount of emphasis that builders are putting in this category.
Absolutely.
I think this is the one category that's going to see the most amount of listings.
Plus-
new listings.
Plus, there's a demand from investors from all over Canada in this category. There are investors from all over, like Vancouver, Toronto, bigger parts of Canada that are investing in these kinds of particular townhomes. Easy to maintain, easy to rent out, and they're newly built.
Yeah.
Right. So
And we have builders right now that are focusing on building a product that's not even available in the market right now. The typical townhome is around that $325,000 price range.
Yeah.
This is the average prices for all segments of the townhomes, whether it's older or newer.
Yeah.
We have builders right now in this category that are focusing on listing or building properties that are going to be less than $275,000.
yes.
So that's crazy.
crazy.
Once that hits the market, those are going to sell very quickly. And I know for a fact that those builders are going to be very nicely rewarded by building this kind of volume, and they're going to see a lot of activity. So
Absolutely. It's good news for first-time home buyers and investors that we have the availability here in Edmonton, right? So apartment condominiums, the listings are going to go up significantly.
This is no surprise. The apartment style condos, again, beginner starter category, lowest price segment that we have, around 200,000 on average. And the predictions are for a 2.4% increase in listings versus last year.
I kind of agree.
Yeah, because we're seeing a lot of construction.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of cranes.
Lots of cranes, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Apartment style condos are becoming more popular here in the Edmonton area as well.
Absolutely. So we're going to put a summary in the bottom. So what's predicted is basically average prices gonna go up, sales are gonna go up, listings are gonna go up.
Yeah.
Right?
Up. Except
but-
for interest rates. Interest rates are going to go down.
Go down. But by how much is, we have given you our prediction versus what's the experts are saying going to happen. But we'll see when we do this review in 2026. We'll see who is right and how close were we or how close was this prediction, right?
You'll have this slide in your links below, but overall, it's a positive forecast.
Positive forecast.
Positive for sales, positive for prices. The only one that's really gonna
Positive
be,
for interest rates too, right?
Interest rates. Buyers, if you guys are considering making a move, sooner rather than later is the way to go. Right now, the prices are expected to go up. Even though the interest rates are expected to go down, the amount of interest rate savings that you're going to have versus over how quickly the prices are going to go up, you're never going to be able to make it up. So you're just better off to buy sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
The nice thing is, right now, the buyers out there have the advantage over last year's buyers because we've got additional incentives from the mortgages.
Yes.
Being able to basically spread your mortgage over 30 years instead of 25.
Yeah.
As well, new home buyers are allowed now to purchase more expensive homes all the way up to 1.5 million and not have to put down 20% anymore.
So that 5%, it's just a more affordable way to go. Absolutely, right?
So win-win. You guys have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to reach out. Our links are below.
You can put it on the comments. We are very good at replying on comments as well. If you have any question, that way everybody can see the answer at the same time. If two people have the same question, right?
Yeah, any questions? That's a good point. Any questions whatsoever? This sparks good conversation. So please do put your comments.
And tell us what your predictions are. We'll
interested in that. Yeah.
Interested in what the population is thinking right now and what's going to happen in Edmonton, right? Guys, thank you so much for staying till the end. Your patience is much appreciated. Gives us more incentive to keep making these kinds of videos. Please like and subscribe. That way, it gives us the motivation to come here every day, do our research, and spend time. Till the next time, thank you so much.
Take care, everybody.